You ever notice how some people can make you feel guilty for saying no? How they twist your words until suddenly you're apologizing for things you didn't even do? That's not miscommunication, that's manipulation. And here's the scariest part, they know exactly what they're doing. Manipulation isn't always obvious, it's not always aggressive or mean. Sometimes it comes wrapped in concern, in love, in helpfulness. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already tangled up in it. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who manipulate others, how they do it, why it works, and most importantly, how to stop them before they destroy your peace. Let's start with who these people actually are, because understanding the manipulator is the first step to protecting yourself. Manipulators aren't monsters, they're people with a specific psychological profile. They have what psychologists call cognitive empathy without affective empathy, which means they can read your emotions perfectly. They know when you're vulnerable, when you're tired, when you need validation, but they don't actually feel your pain. They see your emotions the way a chess player sees the board, as something to strategize around. This is why they're so good at knowing exactly what to say. They're not guessing, they're calculating. And here's what makes it worse. Most manipulators genuinely believe they're the victim. Psychology calls this an external locus of control. Nothing is ever their fault. The world happens to them. And because they see themselves as victims, they justify their manipulation. In their mind, they're not being cruel, they're just surviving. Now let's talk about how they actually do it, because once you can name the tactic, you can see it coming. The first one is gaslighting. This is when they make you doubt your own reality. You bring up something they said or did, and suddenly it's, that never happened, you're remembering it wrong, you're being too sensitive. Over time, you start questioning your own memory, your own sanity, and that's exactly what they want, because once you don't trust yourself, you'll trust them instead. Then there's love bombing. In the beginning, they're incredible, attentive, affectionate. They make you feel seen in ways you've never felt before. But then, without warning, they go cold, distant, unavailable, and you're left wondering what you did wrong. This creates an addiction. You'll do anything to get that initial feeling back, and they know it. Here's another one, triangulation. This is when they bring a third person into the dynamic. Well, so-and-so never complains about this, or they'll tell you about someone who's interested in them, just to make you feel replaceable. It keeps you competing for their attention, and competition means you'll tolerate more just to win. And let's not forget guilt tripping. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? They make you responsible for their emotions. Your boundaries become a tax on them. Your needs become proof that you're selfish. And slowly, you learn to stay quiet just to keep the peace. Now here's the question, why does this work? Why do smart, self-aware people fall for manipulation? Because manipulators are exploiting how your brain is wired. There's something called the reciprocity principle. When someone does something for you, your brain feels obligated to return the favor. Manipulators weaponize this. They do unrequested favors, then make you feel like you owe them, and the debt is never paid. Then there's the sunk cost fallacy. You've already invested so much time, so much energy, so much of yourself into this relationship, walking away feels like admitting it was all a waste, so you stay. You tolerate more, you convince yourself it'll get better, and meanwhile, the manipulation deepens. Your brain also hates contradiction. Psychology calls this cognitive dissonance. You can't accept that someone you love is hurting you, so your brain rewrites the story. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe it is my fault. Maybe I'm the problem. It's easier to blame yourself than to face the truth that this person is deliberately harming you. So how do you stop them? Because understanding isn't enough, you need tools. First, name the tactic out loud. When you feel that twist in your stomach, when something feels off, say it. That sounds like gaslighting. You're guilt-tripping me right now. Manipulators depend on you not seeing what they're doing. The moment you name it, you break the spell. They lose their power. Second, use the gray rock method. Become boring. Give short, emotionless answers. No drama, no reaction.
Manipulators feed on your emotional responses. When you stop giving them supply, they move on. It's not about being rude, it's about being uninteresting. Third, set boundaries with consequences and actually follow through. Not threats, facts. If you raise your voice at me, I will leave this conversation. Then, do it. Manipulators test boundaries constantly. One enforced boundary teaches them more than 100 stated ones ever will. Fourth, stop explaining yourself. No is a complete sentence. The more you explain, the more ammunition you give them. They'll use your reasons to argue, to guilt, to negotiate. Practice saying, "That doesn't work for me," and nothing else. You don't owe anyone a thesis defense of your boundaries. And here's the most important one. Trust your gut over their words. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Manipulators are masters at making abuse sound reasonable. They'll have explanations for everything, but your body knows. That tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that's your intuition screaming at you. Listen to it. Now let's be honest about something. Sometimes the only way to stop a manipulator is to walk away. You can't out-manipulate a manipulator. You can't love them into changing. You can't communicate clearly enough to fix this, because the problem isn't misunderstanding. The problem is that they benefit from your confusion. And if you keep attracting manipulators, that's information too. Often it goes back to what felt normal in childhood. If love was conditional, if affection came with strings, if you had to earn your worth, then manipulation feels familiar. It feels like home. Breaking that pattern means rewiring what your nervous system recognizes as love. Here's the truth. You're not responsible for fixing people who are breaking you. You're not cruel for protecting your peace. You're not selfish for choosing yourself. The right people, the healthy people, they'll respect your no just as much as your yes. They won't make you feel guilty for having needs. They won't twist your reality to serve theirs. So if this video just made you realize something about someone in your life, you're not imagining it. You're not overreacting. You're finally seeing clearly. And that clarity is the first step to freedom. If this resonated with you, drop a comment and let me know. You're not alone in this. And if you want to understand the psychology of people who go completely silent instead of communicating, that video is going to explain someone you know. Click it. You need to see that one too. And don't forget to subscribe, because understanding psychology is how you take your power back.